When it comes to Louisiana,
That looks awful, frankly.
a pricey payday with taxpayer money has never been easier.
Doesn't look good.
And it looks like hell.
Tonight, we look back at a series of stories that shines a light on big business and big payouts.
That's a scam. It's a governmental scam.
Lee Zurich's investigative series, Easy Money, launched a criminal investigation.
He engaged in what is obvious is a really high numbers shell game.
It involves big dollars, your tax dollars.
Is that $5 million?
That is.
Oh my God, Lee. I can't believe it.
Easy Money holds public officials accountable.
You know this stuff, though. Does that sound right to you?
That's what was presented to us in the audit at the time.
You're the head of the film office in Louisiana. You know this stuff. Does that sound right to you, though?
And questions how billions of your tax dollars have been handed out.
You've got a recipe for mischief.
It is impossible, mathematically impossible.
And it's hard to swallow something like that.
Here's Lee Zurich with Easy Money.
$11 billion. That's even big bucks here in Washington, D.C. In Louisiana, that's about half of the state's budget in 1 year. Tonight, we'll show you where big bucks collide with big business. We came here to Washington, D.C., and a local nonprofit, Good Jobs First, that collects subsidy incentive data for every state. We analyzed that data, and what we found, since Bobby Jindal became governor, Louisiana has handed out more subsidies to big businesses than any other state. $11 billion.
That looks awful, frankly.
A $57 million payday.
Wow.
And this watchdog thinks Louisiana taxpayers may have helped fund it.
Doesn't look good.
And it looks like hell.
In 2011, the state approved a big incentive package for Cheniere Energy. Over a 10-year period, a $1.5 billion package. The next year, 2012, the company's CEO, Sharif Saki, received a large stock award, $49 million. His total income jumped from $6 to $57 million. In 2013, he received an even larger payday, nearly $142 million. In the 2 years following the incentive, Saki and 5 other executives took home $300 million in compensation. Are Louisiana taxpayers helping fund their big bonuses?
Right, yeah. When the CEO gets a bump, a 900% pay bump, right after getting a $1 billion+ subsidy award, that's a totally natural question.
In the last 6 years, Cheniere Energy has received more subsidies from Louisiana than all but one company, $1.6 billion.
It's hardly a unique thing to do in Louisiana to get showered with a big tax break.
Greg Leroy heads a national nonprofit based in Washington, D.C. He watchdogs hundreds of thousands of lucrative deals between state governments and private corporations. His state incentive data shows since Bobby Jindal has become governor, Louisiana has handed out more incentives than any other state, $11.1 billion.
That's a huge amount of money.
Washington is next, followed by Michigan and New York. A large number of incentives are handed out via one program, the Industrial Tax Exemption. It waives property taxes for 10 years when a manufacturer makes a capital investment. State records show since 2008, Valero Energy has received $315 million in those exemptions, Exxon $263, Cleco $180 million.
They're not getting anything from the state.
Stephen Morey heads the Department of Economic Development. He says these companies aren't getting anything because he doesn't consider it a subsidy.
You're looking at it as an incentive. What I'm telling you is the Industrial Tax Exemption Program in Louisiana is part of the basic tax structure of the state. It's no different than saying this is where we set the tax brackets for families and what the tax rates are.
When you click on your website and you click on incentives, industrial tax exemption is one of the incentives you list on your website.
Because it is managed by the Department of Economic Development. That's right.
You list it as an incentive.
Okay.
There is the department's website. Click on incentives, you see industrial tax exemption. In fact, here's the first sentence that describes the program. The Louisiana Industrial Tax Exemption Program is an original state incentive program which offers an attractive tax incentive for manufacturers within the state.